Double O Dex. Do you read Double O Dex?
Yes, the double oogle has landed.
Have you acquired the disc yet?
Affirmative. Double oogle 7.
Oh, Dex, we're live. What's up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only call-in show that's run by Secret A. A lot of people like the show. We'll be right back. That was too close, Dex.
You have to be more careful.
Today we have a lot of news. All of the top stories, followed by your calls at 224400 MARF. Double Oogle 7 at the rescue to rescue the Foogle Family. What is up, guys? I am so sorry about the later show. I know you East Coast folks are like, what the heck? If you've never been here before, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. It is Tuesday, 10/1/2019. It is the first month of Halloween month, and lots of spooky things are going on. Just to introduce you to our screener tonight that will be screening the calls and helps produce the show. Dex, are you there? I just want to make sure we've got a good sound on you.
Yes, Adam, I am here, and hello, Foogle Fam.
Sweet. So this is a live show. If you've never watched before, you will have a chance to call in at 224400 MARF, and you will be able to share your opinions. And not only that, the system that we have set up here, again, you can actually share articles with us. A lot of people say a lot of things about our show, but half of our show is dedicated to essentially you calling in, showing us articles that you want to share with people, and debating anything that we might show. So on the top of that, not only are we going to show you some pretty crazy stuff that will confirm the pandemic theory that we have. I'm about to show you something that's really going to freak you out here in a second. Not only that, but we're going to show you the quake swarms that are going on all around the country. We're going to show you a very creepy tweet by our president. A lot of people are talking about civil conflict happening in the USA. But again, we back up everything that we show you here on the show. On our website, we actually give you kind of a bibliography of everything that we have used during the show. So if you actually go to Marfoogle News, you will actually be able to see this thumbnail. And once you get to that, you can actually click on it. So trick or tweet. And then down below, you will actually see all of the articles that we have quoted today. And they are all real news, and it is real scary sometimes. But again, that's not the point of the show. The point of this show, if you actually watch, is to have fun, to meet friends, and to share opinions that are normally taboo. Your friends and family think you're crazy because you look up this kind of stuff, and that's not how it should be. We should all be sharing. We should all be, talking about this freely without being worried about, somebody saying that we're nuts, we're crazy, we're paranoid. They think of us as the people on the corner with a cardboard sign saying this is the end. This show is getting flack from all over the internet, and that's because we're making a difference. We never say anything negative about other channels. They can hate, like they say, let haters hate, and something that rhymes with that. Other than that, it's pretty crazy. We get anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 people watching every single night, and I can definitely tell that a lot of people around us are not happy with that. So, with that being said, we're going to keep it positive. When you come into this chat room or when you call, the general rules is that, don't talk about the callers negatively. Doesn't matter if they're twisted out of their mind. They have 5 minutes and it's their 5 minutes to speak. It's kind of like how it should be in this country. Somebody speaks, we listen. Doesn't matter how crazy they may sound, we listen. That's something that we have not done for the last, 50 years. or ever. It depends on who you ask. But again, there's a lot of crazy things going on. A lot of people have different opinions. It's a very fierce economy out there. It's a very fierce environment. Let's just say that. In fact, we've covered stories even of HR saying that this is like out of records. Even the workspaces that people are in right now are so negative and just so at each other's throats and so divided that our entire country has lost millions and millions of dollars from firing people and, work site, arguments, all this kind of stuff. We don't need that. Here is where you can come after a long day of work and just hang out and actually get the real news without the real angle. Okay, I should write that down. That was my writing sound effect. Anyways, I'm going to get to the tweet. First, I want to show you something. Dex, do we have the Sierra Sando tweet? Is there some way I can get that? I'm sure you already probably tried to post it to me. This Oklahoma is preparing for mass immunizations. Again, if I say any kind of weird word, if I say any weird words, it's because I am doing it on purpose. We do spoonerisms around here, and that is our way of getting around the Mr. Owl rhythm. So let's see here. Dex, can you hear me?
Hey, Adam, I can. What am I looking for real quick?
It can be an article, or it can be that exact tweet that I just tweeted out. It's Oklahoma preparing a mass exercise.
Sorry, it's in the up next, first article. I can move it if you need it.
Okay, hold on. No, that's fine. Let's see here. Well, might need you to put it in show screener if you can. Let's see here. This is what we're about to show you is absolute proof. I mean, this is less than a few days after we put this out, and no one is really talking about it. Some people are saying some of these things can happen, but they were just kind of saying it like normal. These kind of stories come out, maybe every couple of months. They'll talk about how Bill Gates says that, a third of us is going to die of some sort of pandemic. But we have actually shown you not only is our country spending millions and millions into the billions, up to $2.8 billion on pandemic resources as far as actual smallpox immunizations, which, by the way, that disease that has been eradicated since 1980 or 1982. You guys can correct me on which year that was. Why? And we're going to show you out of all of these. Let's see here. I'm going to show you.
It's in the screener.
Okay, Oklahoma. Let's see here. This is actually quite crazy. So this was sent to me by Sierra Sando, and I told her back, I said, this is an extremely good catch. It was not blasted all over the internet, and I'm actually pretty surprised that she was the first one who got it to me. So, and if you did send this as well, sorry I didn't get to your message, check this out. State testing infectious disease response with statewide flu v. a nation effort. It says, according to the Oklahoma State Department of Health, this is a coordinated state effort to test a disaster response system for immunization. And it says the, quote, flu nation component of the exercise is designed to test the state's ability to respond and provide mass immunizations to communities in the event of a public health emergency, such as an infectious disease outbreak or biohazardous threat. The release reads, to fully test this capability in a real-world event, the participating county health departments, including the OKC County Health Department and Tulsa Health Department, will incorporate members of the public who will elect to receive a flu shot to protect them during the current season. Now it says 21 locations around the state are participating. This is an opportunity for us to practice working with our local, state, and federal partners to respond as we would in the event of an emergency or disaster. Now it says Scott Spratt, director of the OSDH Emergency Preparedness and Response Service. It says we are testing all jurisdictional regions as they activate point of dispensing sites at various locations. Being able to provide shots to the public is an added bonus. So they're saying that the actual shots are just part of the, they're an added bonus to the drill. It's not about those shots, and it's not about those immunizations. It's about practicing for something breaking out. Now, funny enough, the last video that we just did on news is talking about the entire thing that we just ordered and cleared $2.8 billion, up to $2.8 billion for something that has been eradicated since the 80s. We also showed you that in that same week, literally within a week of that, the Russian lab that holds, one of two Russian labs that holds smallpox, blew up. And on top of that, you had, we showed you that Timothy Cunningham did some really spooky stuff, including telling his friends and family, even his neighbors, to delete his number out of their phones. And he was at the second location out of the entire world. There's only two that are approved by the World Health Organization that are able to hold smallpox, the bubonic plague, Ebola, and anthrax. So very, very spooky stuff. So good catch, Sierra Sando. This only backs up what we're talking about. And please expect this to come to a state near you. They're saying that they are preparing for some sort of mass outbreak of some sort. They're practicing for the event of that. So that's not to scare people. That's to let you guys know we need to be careful. We need to be prepared for this kind of stuff. And you also have to know, there's so much information on YouTube. You need to go look on what you can do to protect yourself from these viruses. It doesn't mean you hole up in your house or, you live in a cave. You have to know what you can do to actually defend yourself against this. Okay, so I'm going to get into these earthquakes. There's been a lot of earthquakes all around and in various places, and I mean various. We're talking about the weirdest places having earthquakes. It says 6 small earthquakes recorded in southeast Montana. Now, I could be wrong. I feel really stupid from,
Missouri.
What was it, Missouri?
Missouri.
That's what I thought, but I double stupided myself. New Madrid County, Missouri, officials with the United States Geological Surveys reported several earthquakes in southeast Missouri on Monday, September 30th. It says 2 larger quakes were originally reported as 2.8 magnitude each. They were later each downgraded to a 2.7 magnitude. The third large quake was originally reported as a 2.7. It was later downgraded to a 2.6. A fourth was recorded later that day. All 6 recorded earthquakes include. So this was a swarm from 11:18 to 3:31 p.m., 5 of those being within a 30-minute period. So it's not the size of it. Obviously, California has these all the time. It's the placement. It is the fact that they are in Missouri and not in California, not on a fault line. Now, of course, there's actually a different fault line over on the East Coast that not a lot of people know about or talk about. Most of our viewers all know about the New Madrid and things like this, but these are in weird and totally wacky places that these are going on. Mystery, let's see here. I don't want to skip. We have another earthquake story here. Let's see. We will get back to it. We're also going to show you the weird predictive programming that's going on. Okay, I think I put it later. We'll go back to that here in a second. Mystery object likened to Death Star filmed hovering over New York City. It says baffling footage of a circular object in the sky above New York City has been likened to the Death Star from Star Wars by stunned conspiracy theorists. The video begins with the view of the famous skyline of the city in New York, U.S. It says a bright light then comes into shot over and above the buildings as cameraman Mauricio Lopez voices his thoughts. He says, "I've got something in the sky, a blinking red light," he says. "I believe in UFOs and I think I've got one right now." Now, okay, that actually does look like the Death Star. So let's see. It says a strange object seen above New York City has been likened to the Death Star. When he zooms in, the object appears to have terrain on its surface, shown by the dark and light colors. It also seems to have a black line striking through it, sparking the viewer to claim this is not a star either. The object appears to then change color from white to red, and at one point even seems to vanish from view before reappearing. Mauricio posted the footage to YouTube on September 25th with the caption, "UFO over New York City." It has since gone viral after being picked up by renowned UFO channel Mavi77. So again, this is part of the video. Now, I'm wondering if there's one that we can actually show. It says the UFO even seemed to change color. Another user suggested that it was another planet, which a third agreed with. It says it was just an out-of-focus star, Venus perhaps, they added. The footage comes after a series of snake-like UFOs were filmed across the US in recent months. We've actually covered a lot of these. I mean, every single time, we've had a ton of the snake-like UFOs. Now, from the pictures here, and this isn't actually that great of, pictures, it does look almost like it's, moving around like one of these snakes. But again, I wonder if we can. Let's see if we can try to get, I'm going to try to see if we can load this video since it's not going to load here. I'm going to pull it up. I'm as interested as you guys to see with my own eyes. Let's see. Mavi77. Bam. Wow. Either he's shadow banned or I spelled it wrong. Aha. They messed up his name in the article. All right, so let's see here. Videos. Huh. Oddly enough, Dex, they say it was shared by Mavi, but it looks like the last video he did was 3 months ago. So obviously, let's see here.
And they have it on the webpage, but it's full of ads.
Yeah, I know it won't load. It's because of the writing on the website. Over. Let's see if anybody else posted this bad boy. It's been a lot of videos. Excluding New York City, 8 years ago. Dex, if you can try to get me a good link to it, and I'll just go back to this and we'll show that clip later. And I will I'll end up pulling that up. And we'll just do it under fair use. I want to see it just as bad as everybody else. China's 70-year parade shows economic and military might. Daily Mail Online. China showed off its military power and economic prowess during a parade to mark the 70th anniversary of the founding of modern China on Tuesday. The display was presided over by Xi Jinping, wearing a gray jacket and echoes of Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong. Standing in an open-topped car, he watched the parade from a gate of heavenly peace from where Mao proclaimed the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949. The parade was China's first large-scale display of arms since 2015 and was used to showcase the leaps that its military, which has the second largest budget in the world behind the US, has made since then. Included in the display was a new intercontinental ballistic missile capable of hitting anywhere in America within 30 minutes. A hypersonic nuclear missile that is theoretically capable of evading all known missile defense systems, along with new stealth drones and aircraft. A military display was then followed by a civilian parade showcasing the country's economic development that has seen it become a world superpower. No force can ever shake the status of China or stop the Chinese people and nation from marching forward, Z, the president said as he inspected rows of vehicles, troops, and gleaming missiles. So I tweeted earlier, I said, a lot of people doubt China and they say that they're so behind, but again, they don't even need these scientists to design stuff. All they need to do is hire the hackers to hack ours. So a lot of our technology has been hacked by them. Even the deepest, darkest, most encrypted information, China has gotten a lot of their hands on. People say that they're way behind and that the news makes them look all bad and big and bad. And what they really are is they're totally, and this is actually kind of a right-sided thing, opinion that I've heard a lot, that, they're totally backwards and that they are totally, I guess they're super weak and everything's for show. Just so you guys know, I mean, we're billions, if not trillions, however much we're in debt to them. They manufacture almost everything here, and they have made a lot of money, and they have paid a lot of money towards technology and towards research and towards military. Some say that they have been spending double what we spend on military privately and then publicly declaring that they are spending whatever they say, the second largest budget. Now, when we have talked to military sources, they say that now when they do satellite footage, I mean, their cities are so... in parts, I guess. It's not all over. And, somebody from China can obviously call in if they want to debate. I've never been there. But what I hear from the sources is saying that they are technologically getting super advanced as far as their surveillance systems everywhere. Even in little villages, it's so advanced that they have facial recognition everywhere. They are turning it into some sort of dystopian, basically you're tracked everywhere. I mean, this is going to be some sort of future city in just a couple of years using all of this technology that they are developing. They have been at the forefront of face recognition and surveillance, which is really crazy. And if you think about that, that means they're surveilling us, and they're also, they're making some of the products that our countries and our companies are, corporations are using in their stores. This AI-based thief program basically is working right now, and they're using it in US stores. I covered this 6-7 months ago. It's essentially a program that looks at a person. This camera will sit in a store like a gas station, and it will rate the person in your store. It will look and it will say this person has a 95% chance that they're going to steal. It doesn't just look at their face or their mugshot or whatever. It actually looks if they're sweating, if they're looking over their shoulder, if they're twitching, any little body language that says it, it will actually pick up that, and it will watch them. And this thing has been proven right, like time after time after time. They've caught a bunch of shoplifters. So this is just a simple example of the crazy technology that they have now. And again, they've hacked and they've stolen our stuff. And then I always hear people say, well, oh yeah, they hacked our the exact same jet and plane specifications, but they can't make it like we can. I honestly think it's not exactly smart for us to underestimate them forever. We're constantly, it's the American thing to do to say we're number one and they're number two, but they've got a lot of money. Like a lot of money, and they don't distribute it. It's not somewhere where you can get ahead. You only get ahead if they want you to get ahead. The money is based, if you want to talk about the 1% and all this, it's even farther, totally messed up over there. All the money's at the top. It's a communist party. So, these guys are spending whatever money it takes to become number one eventually, and they do not want to be number two. Xi Jinping made himself president for the rest of his term. For whatever reason, it creeps a lot of us out. So all I'm saying is underestimating them forever is just kind of dumb. Just my personal opinion. You can feel free to share yours. Call in at 224-400-MARF. If you want to look at the rest of this article, you can actually go to marfooglenews.com. It is the third one down. Hong Kong protesters. So now the protests have officially become deadly. An 18-year-old was shot in the chest with a live bullet by police during a protest. It says a Hong Kong protester has been shot in the chest during clashes with police, according to police sources. The demonstrator was said to be disoriented while being taken to Princess Margaret Hospital after being hit in the left chest during rallies in the city's Swan Wan district. Debris from the bullet was lodged in his chest only 3 centimeters from his heart, and he is in critical condition. According to reports, he is said to be a secondary school pupil. So I believe we have an update to this. I don't believe he survived, but I could be wrong if anybody wants to put that in chat. I was assuming that he had passed from another article, but we don't have confirmation of that yet. So, as far as I would almost assume that they've had more than that they might be hiding more, victims of, protests or even whatever's going on over there. Not everything is being told through all the media outlets. We know what they will let us know. That's sort of how I have taken it. So, it says footage posted by the Hong Kong University Students Union apparently shows a police officer drawing the gun and shooting a male activist at close range as the protester beat the officer with a baton. So it sounds like the guy was actually doing something to someone at the time of being shot. So guess we will never know. Okay, so this is something, if you have not, obviously a lot of you guys don't read or watch the mainstream because it's mainstream. But a lot of people are talking about this tweet. In fact, there are now multiple big publishers saying they're focused in just on this one tweet. I even heard a rumor on Twitter that there was going to be a book made solely about this or around the theme of this tweet because they feel like it's that his presidency is culminating into something that is turning into a possible civil conflict or a civil war. If the Democrats are successful in removing the president, and again, this isn't a retweet, so you have to kind of analyze what this is, how he does it, and how he did it. It says, if the Democrats are successful in removing the president from office, which they will never be, it will cause a civil war like a fracture in this nation from which our country will never heal. That was a direct quote by Pastor Robert Jeffress, and he posted that. He is essentially saying if he was removed, it would be a civil war. So a lot of people kind of freaked out about this tweet. In fact, even New York Times is doing a big piece on it. Why is DT, Commander-in-Chief, actually tweeting about civil conflict? And there's a lot of things that we kind of pulled up, a lot of weird things. I mean, if you look back, this at the same time, I have a lot of good friends like Jacob Israel looks a lot into this kind of stuff. In fact, I kind of think in this way. Sometimes I think like, oh, Jacob Israel would have totally saw this too. The DMZ was a comic, and apparently HBO is remaking DMZ as a show. And it's essentially going to portray, I guess, Dex, do you know, the description kind of said it was like a modern day civil conflict, right?
Right. It's a futuristic civil conflict, right? Between, I think it's based here, and I believe it's coming out in 2020.
Not only that, lots of other things have kind of led up. They've done it in tons of movies, predictive programming. If you take this, this is, kind of corny, but Marvel, Civil War, Captain America, their tagline was "United we stand, divided we fall." And it's got the blue on the left and, of course, the red on the right. So, I mean, there's lots of little things like this that have kind of been in the public eye, kind of stating that we are kind of coming to a head and that we would have something like this. Do you feel like if he was taken out, or if he was impeached, or if he was forced out, or if he was even, knocked off, Do you think that it would be a civil conflict in our country? I do believe if he was forcefully removed or something happened, or if they found out that, they just ripped him right out, I think we would have some really big problems on our hand as a country and as a world. I mean, this is how divided we are. People would definitely stand up and freak the hell out. Susan Donahue says UFO in San Francisco last week. Fleet of red jets arrived today. UK flight team for air show next week. The Blue Angels only need 2 days before performances. So Susan, basically what you're saying is that the fleet was not part of the air show. The Blue Angels aren't there until 2 days before the performances. That's how they do it here too. So that is very odd. Susan, if you ever get pictures of it, please send it in. Road to Prison. Remember I called the same Death Star pic vids from Gina Marie Colville Hill. She has been seeing them since observatories shut down last year. Oh, since the observatories like Sunspot. I mean, I really do think about this kind of stuff. You guys know this is a place where we can talk about it, kind of our taboo views and not judge each other. As far as like the Death Star goes, I don't know, but I've seen things in the sky that are not satellites. I've seen plenty of crazy stuff up there, and I'm somebody who looks up all the time. I see shooting stars like crazy. I've seen in just the last month 2 come into our atmosphere and burn up right in front of me, and so many others have too. It's like almost every state has a sighting right now just from the last 3 months. So, with that being said, I don't know. It's very odd. A lot of people think that they're spraying to hide a Planet 9 or to hide some sort of mothership. What do you guys think? Give us a call, 224-400-MARF. Charissa Green, thank you, I believe from Australia. You could be from Argentina. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You can always write a message with that. Mama Kitty, thank you for the 10. You can always write something with that as well. Say hi or write a poem. Doesn't matter. And then Wrong Pill donated $3.99. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not required. And Katniss Annywell, thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe, you will get a shout out. Modern Vintage Boutique, thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe, you will get a shout out. And then we've got a bunch of new people from the last hour and a half. Gsaw1211, Mr. Thomas Floyd, William D, Charles Jones, Funky Monkey, Regina Baby, Stephen Katz, and Coleman, Lynn DD, and SP1111. Thank you guys for all joining. All right. By the way, we got a bunch of new subs out of nowhere. It was like, usually that happens when we get mentioned in an article or something. So I don't know what happened, but, whatever happened, thank you. All right. Let's see here. Ava DuVernay to direct DMZ pilot for HBO Max. It says, hot off a big Emmy win for When They See Us, Ava DuVernay is set to launch her second project based on a DC Comics property. Already primed to directed a big screen adaptation of Jack Kirby's New Gods, as Deadline reported last year, Oscar nominee DuVernay is now getting behind the camera for HBO Max with the DMZ pilot soon to be streamed as ordered. Adapted from the Brian Wood written comic published by the Vertigo imprint, the pilot imagines a second American Civil War in the near future. It says A Wrinkle in Time Helmer will direct the project with showrunner and EP Robert Pinilto writing. Prophetically well-timed, if Monday's tweet storm by DT, Commander-in-Chief, is any roadmap, the Manhattan set DMZ will be produced by DuVernay's Array Filmworks in association with Warner Bros. Television. It says, quote, DMZ is a special project to me as it marks a key collaboration with my company, Array Filmworks, an excellent team at Warner Bros. TV, and the dynamo Robert Patino. So, check it out. The original DMZ takes place in a nation torn apart by the uneasy detente between the remains of federal government and the secessionist Free State armies, with art by Riccardo Burchilli and printed by DC Comics. So it kind of talks about this. If you want to go look more into it, the creepy part is now they've kind of adapted it to HBO as it's set kind of under DT and the situation right now. And it's supposed to be set, at the very start of 2020. A lot of people think 2020 is going to be some sort of magical year. What do you think? Do you think, we've had all of these big dates that have kind of gone by. 2020 for me is just crazy to think about that it's the year 2020. Just kind of nuts. This is supposed information out of NASA. Who knows? It's NASA. NASA lander captures Mars quakes, other Martian sounds. NASA's InSight lander on Mars has captured the low rumble of Mars quakes and a symphony of otherworldly sounds. Scientists released an audio sampling Tuesday, and the sounds had to be enhanced for humans to hear. InSight's seismometer has detected more than 100 events, but only 21 are considered strong Mars quake candidates. The rest could be Mars quakes or something else. The French seismometer is so sensitive it can hear the Martian wind as well as movements by the lander's robot arm and other mechanical dinks and donks, as the team calls them. I wonder if that's their code word for the aliens there. Dinks and donks. It's been exciting, especially in the beginning, hearing the first vibrations from the lander, said Imperial College's London Castinos Chalabambos, who helped provide the audio recordings. You're imagining what's really happening on Mars as InSight sits on the open landscape. Now, so, what's also funny is I tweeted out today that the fact that people are paying to send their name to Mars. In fact, you pay a certain amount, and I don't know how much you guys paid, and then you get kind of a plaque. It's kind of like naming a star, only this thing is supposedly going to be a piece of paper or some sort of plaque that goes in a slot and get launches to Mars when they eventually go or something, right? And a lot of people's response were obviously saying, this is kind of like writing a letter to Santa and sending it off, it's not going anywhere. But others actually, somebody tweeted me today and said that they haven't just sent one, but two. So they didn't just pay once, but they paid twice. It was a gentleman named Daniel, and he did it. So Daniel, if you want to comment how much that cost and, what the details behind it, that would be great. But I was really surprised to see that they're doing a lot of these kind of funky things. Like, I just wonder what we are going to see in the next couple years. Now, if you come from a viewpoint of Mars doesn't exist, they're not actually leaving our planet, then you could also be coming from the point that graphics and CGI is so good now that they can actually create whatever they want out of CGI. I think games are almost held back from what we are actually capable of. Otherwise, I believe if our gaming systems were the size of, desktops, then they could probably do it right now. In fact, what they are doing with graphics, and I'm sure that is 10, 20 years behind what DARPA has done. I'm sure that kind of a wag the dog scenario has happened time after time after time, and we have never even known the difference. A lot of people reacted to that video we put out with Mountain Man calling in about Stanley Kubrick possibly directing the moon landing. He kind of spit some knowledge there, and he talked about a lot of the kind of things that lined up. A lot of people had a lot of positive things to say about that. There were a few people that said that this is just like absurdity, but it is definitely awesome to be open-minded and to listen to that kind of stuff, because there was a lot of weird things that lined up with that. And the more you dig, it's kind of like the more you confirm some of the weird things that you think. So again, I don't think none of us, it's just so weird that there's one thing out there that there's not one person. If there is one person watching, then I'm not going to be online anymore very soon that has been outside to space. Nobody can say they have been. So it's kind of like, it's just a moot point when people argue like, no, it is real. It isn't. None of us have seen it. So we can't really say anything. You can't say it's not real either because you haven't been up there. So, who knows? And again, people could say, oh, you can't get through the Kuiper Belt or this and that. Maybe they have technology that they can now. Those are the same people that are saying that, DARPA and all this is 20, 30 years ahead of us. Well, if they were 20, 30 years ahead and where they're at now, they can do it now. They probably couldn't do it 30 years ago, but maybe they had technology that was, on par with today's. I don't know. It's a very big debate. And, of course, you can always call in and give us your opinion. When or if NASA finds life on Mars, the world may not be ready for the discovery, the agency chief says. It says NASA's next mission to Mars will be its most advanced yet, but if scientists discover there was once life or there is life on the red planet, will the public be able to handle such an extraterrestrial concept? NASA Chief Scientist Jim Green doesn't think so. Quote, "It will be revolutionary," Green told The Telegraph. "It will start a whole new line of thinking. I don't think we're prepared for the results. We're not." NASA Chief Scientist Jim Green thinks of new life on Mars is coming soon and the public isn't prepared to hear it. So this brings me to another thing that I tweeted out today. They are talking about sending microbes to terraform Mars. You've got President DT saying, he did a public speech the other day. He was sitting in his chair like they always do. They sit across from each other in the Oval Office or wherever that is. And he's like, yeah, no, I asked him, I said, why are we going to the moon? We've already done that, right? And this is the president talking, and he goes, well, they told me we're not going to the moon, silly. It's just a launch pad to go to Mars. And I was just thinking, this is so crazy. And he talks like he just got filled in on it. Like he was totally in the dark until that day. And you really hear it in his voice, like he just found out or something, which, he probably knew already, all that kind of stuff. But again, if it is true, you have to be open-minded too. I don't like the people that are just like, it doesn't exist, this and that. Let's all be able to listen to each other and talk about this kind of stuff. What if Mars was real? What if we could get through the Kuiper Belt? Maybe the Kuiper Belt was made up so people didn't make their homemade rockets and try to fly out. And then go to the moon and see that there's a military base there. Maybe they were afraid of people actually, kind of a DIY rocket situation. And the more people that did DIY rockets, which people have done, a few of them actually have come close to succeeding and surviving. And again, it's like, what if that was something? We have never been there. We don't know. It's just funny because the same people that don't believe in the science also believe in the science of the Kuiper Belt, or basically they're choosing to deny one scientific fact while believing another, coming from basically the same place. They're saying NASA lies. Well, NASA's who told us about this too, right? Maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me. Of course, call in 224-400-MARF. I'm just saying, if you think back to where that information came from, maybe that came from something related to Operation Paperclip or Werner von Braun or something, Who knows if, what do we believe? What happens next is a whole new set of scientific questions, he said. Is that life like us? How are we related? The Mars 2020 rover, along with the European Space Agency's ExoMars rover, will drill into the Martian crust. The surface of the red planet is believed to be radioactive, so if there is life on Mars, it likely lives below ground. Isn't that crazy to think of? Because they have those crazy storms there, or supposedly. It says, we've never drilled that deep, he told The Telegraph. When environments get extreme, life moves into the rocks. The principle has been proven on our home planet. After drilling miles into the Earth, researchers found more life in the Earth's crust than on its surface, he said. The bottom line is, where there is water, there is life. And if the agency's new rovers find proof of that water once flowed on Mars, he said the confirmation could come weeks or months of landing. So buckle up, space lovers. The realm of possibility might get much wider very, very soon. What do you guys think? Do you think that there was water on there? One thing I don't get is the pictures that we see nowadays that these are super clear pictures, like the picture that was just showed of Jupiter like 50 times farther. And it's so freaking clear. It looks like a picture taken with like a DSLR, but yet we still don't have, you know, a non, and I'm not trying to be either side here, but I really did think it was weird up until, I don't know if something has changed in the last couple of years, but there was never a non-composite shot of the Earth. And I thought, we've got so many things flying outside there. We've got so many things outside in space. According to them, how do we have these perfect pictures pointing out of all the planets, but we don't have a good non-composite? And somebody will say, no, there is one. There's a few instances, but most of them you find out that they're composites, and the one that does, they've all got a story behind them. It just, either way, it just makes people argue even more. I mean, it really does kind of get people going. Smart cities like New York City are creating mass surveillance nightmare. This is what I was talking about. This is just like China's face recognition software. We reported on those weird towers that they had last year that were put in, and it was millions of dollars. And even the local government was saying, like, what are these? They didn't get filled in on what they were. They were these weird towers that almost looked like stoplights, but they had cameras, and they were these big, in fact, I'll just show you pictures. And I knew this was something to do with 5G and surveillance, like super, super weird. Towers in New York. And you can always look this stuff up for yourself. Once you kind of dig deep, this is the mysterious metal towers. Let me see if I might be able to play a section of this, because it's CNN, I think. CBS. And skip the stupid ad.
Really nice.
Jose Lugo says these tall metal towers quickly popped up after Brooklyn Battery Tunnel toll booths came down.
We don't really know what's the purpose of this.
It's a $100 million MTA project.
Okay, first off, did you hear that? $100 million on these towers, and they didn't know what they were. They did not tell the director of transportation. They didn't tell a lot of the people what they were. Now, above these metal towers, this additional thing comes out, and it looks like they're little sort of laser things or some weird camera things. Check this out.
Full of secrecy, with 18 of these for the tunnels and bridges. So what are they exactly?
Are you saying you can't comment to me? You know,
that's the MTA's man in charge of bridges and tunnels, Cedric Fulton, dodging our questions.
Not even later, can we talk
This is bullshit. They know what it is.
about it, or can I make an appointment?
Some MTA board members, including New York City Transportation Commissioner Polly Trottenberg, say they know too little about the towers, even with about half the money spent and some of the towers up.
A lot of the board members felt like they didn't have all the details they would have wanted, myself included.
Residents who say they suspect there is much more going on with these towers than meets the eye wonder, will they ever know what's going on inside them?
I'm going to guess it's probably not just a decoration.
Yeah, so you get the point. These towers, this is just in New York City so far, and then if you kind of read these things and you're like, smart cities like New York cities are creating a mass surveillance nightmare. So this, I almost believe, is kind of related to this thing. Those towers, by the way, $100 million, to put that in perspective, that's enough to basically kind of outfit stoplights for, you know, a small city. So what are these towers? There's only a few of them. That's the thing. There's not thousands of them. There's only a few. So what kind of technology costs that much in so little placement? You know, it almost kind of makes me, I wish, you know, I'm surprised the Edge of Wonder guys have not covered this. They're always in New York. They're always filming there. I'm like, I wonder if they've actually done a video on those towers, because that would be super cool. I'm on the opposite end of the country, but man, if I was there, I would be going up to them and, you know, checking out what the hell they are. I think that they are 5G related. They might possibly even be kind of like what we had at TSA. This is just a theory of mine. If they cost that much, Are they kind of like the technology at TSA where they can see through our clothes? Imagine if they see all these people walking down the street and they see somebody with a gun on their self or on their back or in their jacket. If they see explosives, think about from a law enforcement perspective, they could pass that through any higher ups and they would go, yes, I do believe this should be secret. Otherwise, people would avoid them. I think it's to spot guns. That's what I think. And I think that it is only reacts to certain metals or something, or it reacts to biomatter and it will see a human being. But I think that they are hiding it because of the drama around that. When they did the TSA, they said, I don't want somebody looking at my boobs. And basically you can see the shape of the entire person. So they'll see your, as what is it? NASA calls it your dinks and donks. So even more is coming. More than 1 million New Yorkers could soon willingly agree to carry a government-issued tracking device, whether they realize it or not. That's the proposal from Mayor Bill de Blasio, who, having recently returned from the cornfield-dotted campaign trail in Iowa, is setting his sights on transforming New York City into something out of a dystopian sci-fi novel. But some critics are urging caution from the move. It says the fuss is about a tiny RFID chip that the mayor wants to embed in each and every municipal ID card for New York residents as part of the ID NYC program. The latest proposal might seem modest, but the reality is that it potentially puts hundreds of thousands of us at greater risk for identity theft, stalking, and undocumented New Yorkers, deportation. And sadly, it's part of a global trend called towards so-called smart cities, a series of high-tech undertakings that claim to improve municipal efficiency at the modest price of stripping us of our privacy and autonomy. It says it is a dubious trade-off if the technology delivered, but increasingly we see that these systems take more than what we feared while delivering far less than what we were promised. If you want to read the rest about this, I would highly recommend it. It is linked on MarFoogleNews.com. These are scary things coming to a street near you if they aren't there already. A lot of these things are being hidden on top of stop poles and things like this. Not the ID NYC thing, but the readers for the future systems that will be RFID. Our state actually has the passport ID, I guess by 2020, again, 2020 comes in a lot. We will all have to have the real ID thing, and we will have RFIDs. So New York City's not alone. There's a lot of states that are doing this, and it's just going to get even more crazy as it goes along. What do you think about it? Do you think it's stripping your privacy? Do you think that it's wrong that they do this? I think the majority, 99% of the Marfoogle family, does not like this. Just a guess, though. A little creepy, Russian company starts mass production of humanoid robots that can look like you. Okay, so remember the thing that was just a couple weeks ago, this big deal about the app that used our face for whatever purpose? Kind of odd, right? I don't know if they're connected. But what happened a couple weeks ago is everybody was talking about it. It was called Face App. I believe it was called Face App. Dex, if you know, let me know if I'm right or wrong. It was called Face App. It's still out.
It's Face App.
Okay. Face App is an app that does all these tricks with your face. You can make yourself look older. You can make yourself look different in some ways. But it's in the promises that you make when you sign up. It's, the user agreement, right? You always check the box and you just download the damn thing. Well, this one essentially owns your picture. If you take a picture with it of your face, the Russian company that does it owns your face, can use it, can sell it, can use it for whatever purpose. So if they wanted to use it for a Wheaties commercial or their a Vitis commercial, then they could do that without your permission, because you've already given them permission for the rest of your life to use whatever picture you take with that app, and they can use it for whatever they want. Now they say that Russian company starts mass production of humanoid robots that can look like you. This is creepy. Lots of, weird. Looks like something out of The Sims. It says a prototype of a robot with a human appearance. Promobot. Look at this. This is creepy. Oh my gosh. You put a mustache and a little goatee, you've got me. That is creepy. Sorry. I totally got distracted by how creepy that was. A Russian startup has launched serial production of unique lifelike robots that not only look the way you want and mimic facial expressions, but are also able to work for you. Sorry for the bad Russian accent. Based in the Russian city of Perm, Promobot says its humanoid bots called Android Robo-Cs can replace humans in the office and even at home. The android can answer people's questions in shopping centers and museums, be an administrator or an office employee, and greet visitors and communicate with them. According to the maker, however, it won't be working much longer than a human. Its battery only lasts about 8 hours before it needs to be recharged. Okay, so this is yet another story, and people like Florida Patriot 71 have actually pointed out even more than what I thought about. We have covered every little story where a robot or AI was going to replace a person. If you are, say, a receptionist or somebody who answers phones at a business, these robots can be programmed to actually answer a home phone or a office phone and then do responses. And now, kind of just like Google Assistant, they can respond based on these things. And now we have these phone trees where you can actually say really detailed stuff. I mean, even if you mess up, they know what you mean. They can say, what do you want today? And you can say anything on some corporations. When you call their phone tree at corporations like Microsoft, a couple of their lines are set up so you can say, I want to talk to somebody in billing. I'm having a problem with this, blah, blah, blah. We'll say, okay, do you know any of the extensions in billing and this and this and that? And it talks to you like it's a real person. They've even gone further, not considering robots, but as far as like the autonomous answering AI systems that Microsoft and some other companies have, like Expedia. These AI programs are answering very complex questions, which that just took a human out of that job. Somebody is no longer in a call center. They said, we're basically told to go home. And they're like, what did I do wrong? Oh, well, you did nothing. But AI 4000 bot over here is kicking ass. You're talking about sales jobs. If you've ever done, most of us have done a crappy sales job in our early years, as far as like selling magazines or selling something at a call center or any of those call centers, I know a million people that, it's like you couldn't find a job, you could get a job doing something like that. So that's like why I've always said in the past, if you don't have a job, you're not trying, because there are plenty of shitty jobs that you can get no matter who you are. There's things like that. Well, they're taking those away. So these people really will have an excuse to have no job. So there's so many different positions, and now you hear about administrators, drivers, pilots, welders, construction workers. Robots are taking the place of everyone. What do they think is going to happen if the entire workforce is robots? How do we even keep economy going? I'll tell you. They start to enslave us, and only the rich have control of the robots. Just a thought. It's pretty crazy. Again, I wholly and totally recommend you to go to the website. You can actually see any of these articles that we showed here today. You can actually check those out. If you want to help support us, you can do so and protect yourself against EMPs if you would like to do so. Again, we are very transparent when we are trying to earn money. EMP Shield, we fully and utterly believe that this will save lives. It is the world's first and only EMP/coronal mass ejection protection device. So even if a Carrington event happens, as long as you have one of these wired in within 250 linear feet, so I mean that could be 250 feet from where this is wired into your house, the entire house, multiple floors, will be covered. So any device that is wired into this will be protected if we have an EMP attack or if we have a coronal mass ejection like the Carrington event happen. So these, they actually make a home, a vehicle, generator, solar, RV, and a ham radio version. If you have not seen these guys are working with the DoD and Homeland Security to actually secure our grid after President DT signed that new bill. They have teamed up with Klarna, I believe it's called. And what that means is you can actually, a lot of people couldn't afford this 100%. So what they've done is they've broken it up into 4 payments and they've made it so they require no money up front and it's interest free. So there's really no bad side of breaking it up. It's not like, you know, those rental furniture places that they're like, oh, it's a couch for $400, but you only pay 8,000 payments. So you only pay like 9,000 for it. This is different. So again, we are trying to expand. We're trying to bring on more people onto this team. Again, it's not free to run a business. It's not free to run a YouTube channel once you get to a certain size. So we really appreciate it. Again, nothing is required. Donations are not required. They're not asked for. The people that do, I really appreciate you. But again, people can say blah, 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 blah about anything they want. We have always told you since day one, what's up. As far as this, we believe in it. Same with ground therapy. I personally use that, and I personally got over a lot of my digestive stuff that go along with my medical condition from that. So I'll talk about that here in a second. We're going to get the phones opened up. This is ground therapy. If you want to support us this way, if you've been waiting on it, again, there's free shipping if you use the code MH. That's for Muriel Hemingway. If you haven't seen that interview with Muriel Hemingway, check it out. But essentially, her coming on, they gave us free shipping for a month if you use that code. There's something like the bed mat. What it does is it actually grounds you. We are made out of electricity when you actually lay on this. To explain the science of it, you probably want to go check out the Earthing movie, which you can do so. Go to our website at marfooglenews.com/GT, or you can go to marfooglenews.com/earthing, code MH if you want to get anything. With that being said, let's see here. I want to make sure. Yeah. If you want to support us with the Love Mob, with the t-shirts, I would highly appreciate it. Actually, so what we are doing is we're switching this over. We are going to be donating 100% of the proceeds of the shirts to charity. We have not chosen a charity yet. So for the time being, it is still going to us. If you guys have a charity, make sure that Teespring supports it. You guys can actually go to it, and then I might actually have a vote on Twitter. So we wanted to turn something negative into something positive. People were, trying to hate on us for, being so tight-knit. They called us the Mafia, like it was some sort of bad thing. We turned a negative connotation of a word into something positive. And even furthermore, they really hate it's going to go to charity. So if you have a favorite charity, make sure it is supported by Teespring, because it's going to automatically do it. So you will actually see that when you order the shirt, it's going to go through Teespring and automatically to that charity. And you'll get a sweet shirt out of it. Let's see here if it will open. There we go. All right. So I'm going to open up the phones. Important notice, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably from myself, from Dex, from anyone who works on the show. And you should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. That is why it is so important that you actually call in, you give us articles, you can link government websites with, the answer to something. You can link the proof that you have. If you hear something on this show and you're like, that's totally wrong, show us proof and we will retract it. We've always have. So that's the cool part about the show. You can actually call in. You can give us some information about that kind of stuff, and then we can show everybody what's up. If you have not checked out the main channel, it's about to hit 100. Actually, I think it hit 144. Dex, didn't we hit 144? I don't know if you're there. I think we actually hit 144 yesterday, so this isn't updated. But either way, thank you guys for getting me to 144. I hope that you guys actually head over to Jacob Israel. If you've never subscribed to him, you should go do so. And then, of course, this channel is closer actually to 91,000. So thank you guys all for coming in. And then again, this was at 143,000. This isn't updated. Now it's at 144. So thank you, whatever big name shouted me out. Thank you. That's awesome. Gee Willikers jolly. Okay. And let's see here. Oh, and the Discord. We have state groups that meet every week in some cases, some once a month. And these guys are all serious about prep. The thing is again, you try to organize something like this at your office, they'll probably, sit apart from you at lunch and start, uninviting you from parties, because they think you're some sort of tinfoil hat wearing creepo in the basement with pictures of different celebrities with, red string tied from one to the other. When really we're all just reasonable and logical people that want to prepare for a disaster. There is no expected disaster. Let me just tell you that right now. Every single time a disaster happens, people say, I can't believe that happened here. How could something like this happen to us? It's always going to happen to people like us because it's Murphy's Law. If it can and will happen, it will, whatever, Murphy's Law. Which, speaking of which, Murphy's Law is an awesome screen name and an awesome gal in our group. Join the Foogle Fam community, find your local state groups, share and learn prep and intel, hundreds of channels for everyone, plus an exclusive military channel for former current military. Again, do not try to fake false valor. Otherwise, you will be kicked out of every single group. We do not support that. And if you did decide to be, say, a fan of the show and do false valor, well, that's on your own time. And that's, again, not related to us in any way. Thank you very much. Go to marfooglenews.com if you want to join any endeavor that we have going. Again, you can sign up for Marfoogle Alerts. That is the system we can actually get things out to you. We only send things out if we've got them vetted. If any kind of SHTF situation was known, if any of our military folks give us a heads up on something, that's the system we would use. So most importantly out of all of this, the meetings in person are very important. The show is just a vessel to bring people in and to get you guys organized and to get you going. It's the call to action. Okay, this is a news show. Again, the call to action is for you guys to separate from me and organize yourselves and prepare and push up others, positivity all around. That is what this is about. It always has been since day one. So make sure you guys know that. All right, now we're basically ready to get the show started. If you want to watch the Earthing movie and find more about grounding, some people have been doing this for decades. Anybody in the Foogle family that already does it, they all have positive things to say about it. Some people feel like it's a miracle. I just feel like when you are grounded, when you are actually having the ions in your body work right, this isn't like one of those magnetic bracelets. This is an actual, this is a scientifically proven thing. Essentially, we can be grounded just like a device. When you stand barefoot on the ground, which you can do for free, you are actually getting healthier right away. And we used to, but then we started putting on rubber-soled shoes forever and ever and ever, and we separated ourselves from Earth. So make sure to check it out, marfooglenews.com/GT. And again, you can go there for any kind of details. Let's wrap it up, roll it out, and make sure we do it. You can go to fooglefamily.com if you want to support LCJC family. She's still going through a really hard time. We don't have a new slide yet. But again, fooglefamily.com if you want to support her. We're going to get a new slide in there. Okay, let's see here. Bada bing, bada boom.
Hey, Adam, that video you wanted to show, I did find one of them from the article. Trainer, if you want to show
Okay,
that, and
sweet.
I've got callers ready to go.
Okay.
And yeah, we did grow quite a bit, so we do need to update that card. Fantastic.
We're at 144, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday we were at 143. Now we are at 144. Thanks. Let's see here. UFO over New York City. See, when people turn, negativity turned into positivity is the greatest thing. And there is no negative. I guess all publicity is good publicity. That's what they say. Okay, let's see here. Bada bing, bada foogle. You like that? Bada bing, bada foogle.
How you doing, everyone? As you everyone to see, I'm filming New York City. I got something over the sky. It's over here somewhere. Right there. You see that little blinking red light over New York City? Okay. I believe in UFOs, but I think I just caught one right now. I'm not really sure if it is, if it's not, but let's see.
Whoa.
And this is not a star either. It changed to different colors. It changed to red. It's moving slowly over the city. Se está moviendo bien suavecito. Antes andaba encima de la ciudad. Oh yeah, cogí un extraterrestre. Yeah, mira, está cambiando en rojo. Oh my god. Se va a desaparecer la mierda. Oye, mira, cogí un extraterrestre. Mira, se puso todo rojo. Puede ser.
Okay, so I do have one thought about this. So me being skeptical here, if I was to be skeptical, so that line, right? This looks like kind of an aperture blur once again. How can I say that? Okay, so when I get closer to the camera, you guys see how that blurs out. So let me show you here. So if I get closer, it blurs out. If I get farther back. With your cell phones, you have a tiny, tiny, tiny little sensor. In DSLRs like this one, there's a big sensor. This one's a full frame. Doug N says it's fake. One thing I thought of is if it's a cell phone camera, right? So actually, this one's a perfect example. Okay, so say take this one, right? All broken up, the screen's all cracked, whatever else. Say you crack that and there's a line across the camera. So this one's been dropped many times. It's been broke. I still use it, right? Crack across the camera. Could it end up in a little line like that? Because it's a very, very, very straight line. And then as it goes, there was a little tiny flare kind of thing right here. Right there, there's a little dot. Let me show you full screen here. And then let me get out of this so I can actually zoom in. There's a little dot like it's almost like a little moon or something, right? But I think that was almost flare, and it lines up directly with this line. So that's just my skeptical thought about that. And you can tell he's hand holding, and then when he zooms in, it's like this. The thing is cell phone cameras just really can't catch something, but man, I don't know though. It kind of indents right here. That would be super weird if it was something else. Just
And this is not a star either. It changed to different colors. It changed to red. It's moving slowly over the city. Se está moviendo bien suavecito. Antes andaba encima de la ciudad.
What is kind of weird is that it's constant light. You know, a plane would blink, which it could be, facing with the headlight or the I guess headlights. Is that what I'm assuming they call plane headlights? Are they, plane lights or something? Floodlights? I don't know. Either way, they could be facing him, and it could be moving slowly in his perspective because it is facing him, so it doesn't look like it's moving left to right that much. I don't know. Is it? You guys tell me what you guys think. Gosh, I should almost. Oh, you know what I'll do? Bam. I'm gonna tweet. I'm gonna tweet it. I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to ask you guys right now. And you guys let me know, real, fake, real, or real, fake, fake. Bam. Info. And one more. I don't know. Bam. One day. All right, you guys. Head over to @Marfoogle and answer those questions. I want to see how many people honestly think that that's real. All right. Let's see, and we'll go to that during the shoutro. No. I'm not a good tweeter. That's why we called this show Trick or Tweet. That and the really scary Civil War tweet by our President of the United States. Okay, why doesn't it let me do it? You stupid tweeter. One day? Let's just do 2 days. 1 hour. 1 minute. Do I have to fix my spelling? @Marfoogle. Marfoogle now. Tweet. It's not my fault. You see that? It said something went wrong and it's not my fault. Well, then whose fault is it? Man, that's stupid. All right, well, never mind. If you're rewatching this, I'll end up doing this again after the show. That's pretty lame wad. Yes, I'm going to discard my stupid tweet that I just did live in front of 2,000 people. Thanks, Twitter. All right, let's get the first caller on. Looks like it's going to be T-Rod from the 3%er Report. Dex, and T-Rod right over. Make sure to give him keys to the Aston Martin. T-Rod, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Adam?
So, what are you calling in tonight about? It looks like you've got something here. Initiative, Smart City Conference. What's this?
I was doing a video today, and I came across this. This was some of my research that I was working on. I know you were talking about China and social credit scoring and 5G and everything. I found this. They're actually having these conferences across the United States. They had one in April of this year. They're having one now in Washington, D.C. From September the 30th to October the 2nd, and then they're going to have one in Australia from October the 30th to November the 1st. It's a Smart Cities Conference. They've got all of these people from different states, different city leaders, people with like Intel. I know there was one person that was with the Department of Homeland Security. I mean, it's just a who's who of people that are going to be at these conferences talking about how to have smart cities, roll out all over the United States and what they're trying to do to get these things going. I mean,
so T-Rod,
when I saw it, I couldn't believe it.
So T-Rod, essentially, not only that, smart cities is also 5G. Just so nobody, it's kind of hidden in there. Smart cities, to be a smart city, has to have 5G running through it like a blood vein, because everything needs to be connected. So,
that's right, and that's what this is all tying into. I had an article from the Pensacola News Journal where they were talking about initiating 5G, and they have to have it. They talk about autonomous vehicles, drones, all of those different things where, they're putting this 5G in place. They want to have all of these cities operating under this smart city program where they have, 5G is going to be, that's why they're pushing it so hard. That's what I've been trying to tell people. They're pushing this so hard because they want to integrate this into it's like a command and control thing for all of these cities to pretty much have you watched 24/7. Basically, they see you where you go every day, what you do, what you buy, what you sell, whatever. It's a whole system that they're trying to put into place. But they try to play it off as something that's for convenience or something for that's going to help cities grow and be better. But I see it more as a like I was talking about, a dystopian nightmare for people that are going to be in the middle of all this. So it's crazy. I haven't.
Well, T-Rod, thank you
with New York.
Thank you for putting your voice out there. And then this is the video he's talking about. It's called Smart Cities ... NWO. Whoops, had myself echoing. NWO Dystopian Nightmare. So we are sending a bunch of folks over there. T-Rod, we're just at about time. Is there anything else you wanted to get out there before you left? I totally agree with you on smart cities. And again, that conference that he's talking about, when he says the who's who, it's not exactly like you go there and get the intel. Those people have closed door meetings once they get to those meetings. That's where I want to be. Mm-hmm. I want to be on those closed door meetings.
Exactly, because you don't know exactly what they're talking about behind those doors. I mean, they give you this layout of what they're going to be doing, day by day, kind of a synopsis of each day, but what they're going to discuss behind closed doors, you just don't know what they may be talking about. But hey, if you get a chance, Marf, look at that Pensacola Journal article on 5G cell towers. I just wanted to throw that at you too, if you get a chance to look at it, because it's crazy about how they're doing this to people in Florida. They actually, the way they've written it into law, the people in the cities have no say-so where they put all these 5G towers. I mean, they can stick one in your front yard as long as it's in the right of way. You can't say a thing about it, and it's ridiculous. But
yep, they have ultimate and complete power.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, thank you, T-Rod. We sent the Foogle Fam over. It's 3% report. Remember that. Almost to 1.5 thousand subscribers. I guess that would be the next one, and then 2,000 is after that. So, folks, if you guys want to head over and help out 3% report, make sure to go do so. T-Rod, thank you for calling in tonight, and you're always a pleasure to have on. And there's going to be lots of news, so I hope that you're ready, because you're going to be one of the voices that comes in when I'm out of here. All right, you have a great night.
Oh yeah.
Be safe. Be prepared, man.
Take care. I appreciate you, man.
All right, you too.
All right, brother. Take
Good night.
care.
Let's see here. Boom. Next we have Jake. Jake, you are live on Marfoogle TV. Yes, Jake, we can. You're very clear.
Awesome.
All right, what's going on?
Okay, so
civil unrest.
I know that I only have I have a couple of minutes, so I'll try and get through everything I can think of quickly. First, let me go over the ME. I believe I sent Dex a website for you to look at. It's called stripes.com. It's a military website, and they're reporting that they are moving the Air Force Middle East Central Command from Qatar to South Carolina, which is crazy because it's been there for 13 years. And personally, I have confirmation of this because I have someone I'm close to that is a military contract worker. They work with military contracts, and they came to me and said, yes, they almost mid-flight turned these planes around and they went straight to South Carolina for some reason. So the Air Force is moving their entire command center to South Carolina. And that command center covers anything from, the ME, North Africa, even Southwest Asia. I mean, it's a huge coverage. So I figured that would be important for the Foogle Fam to know. And then in terms of other civil unrest going on, I'm sure you know about Iraq. Yes. Okay. Very good. They are basically trying to overthrow the Ryanian regime they installed, and it's turned into something similar to Hong K, where the police are using live ammunition, things like that. And curiously enough, so is the same thing going on in Peru. They're also having major unrest. In fact, the Peruvian president disbanded their Congress, and then at the same time, the Peruvian Congress called the president null and void. So it was like a back and forth they were going between each other, which I thought was kind of strange. So pretty much everywhere, it's not just the United States, it's everywhere. The whole civil conflicts, they're brewing all across
everywhere.
The world. Everywhere, and it's just crazy. And now again, and to get closer to home, when T-Man sent that tweet, I found on Twitter, for some reason, Civil War sign up hashtag was trending, and it was almost #1. And so I was starting to read through all the comments, and they're making jokes about this crap. I mean, people are like, oh, you know, I can't wait to sign up. I'm going to wear X, Y, and Z, or I can't wait to sign up. This is going to be so much fun. Guys, this is not something to joke about. I mean, we're talking about potentially going to arms against our fellow citizens. This is not, and you know, you have people on the right who say it'll be an easy fight, and then you have people on the left who, for some reason, think it won't be. I mean, yes, it will be an easy fight at first, but that's just because we have the initial arms to maintain a conventional war. Don't kid yourself. As soon as something happens, and the first, you know, instances of the Lexington modern era, if this happens, both sides are going to scatter. All you have to do is just wear civilian clothing, and then you blend into the populace. It turns into an asymmetric warfare almost immediately. It's just for us to think it's just going to be, you know, two sides fighting in the streets. That's not how it's going to be. It's going to be people throwing Molotov cocktails on, you know, an RNC station or a DNC station. You know, it's just going to be things like that. It's just it. And then something before I forget, I saw when you brought up the Mars launch and how the NASA head was saying we couldn't handle the information that's going to come out potentially. I think it's interesting because the launch date is July of 2020, which is in the midst of our election, and so politically we'll be torn apart, while at the same time theologically we'll be torn apart, because now you're going to have evidence of life on another planet. Well, there's going to be a lot of questions about God and things like that are going to be brought up. So, I mean, they're tearing us apart every which way they can think of. It's just going to be very interesting.
Well, and just to read a couple comments as far as the ME and all the other stuff, Raymond Ripcurl says, this is a really big deal. They wouldn't bring that back to the States so far away from the fighting unless they are planning on a large fight and not just the usual ground fight. That was a good comment by Raymond.
Yeah, it is.
So,
well, because
they usually have one building.
Entire operation. Right, exactly. I mean, the thing is that the way for instance, our drones operate, there's a set group. It's a very small group of people who go over to Middle East, or MEs rather, and they will control when the plane takes off and when the plane lands. But the period in between, the 12 to however long the plane is up in the air, that's sent back to the United States and flown out of typically a base out of New Mexico and a base out of Missouri, stuff like that. So we have the setup already almost to have small scale intelligence gathering from our state, from stateside. But for an entire central command to be moved, that's a huge amount of people. That's their families, that if they're still there. I mean, it's a huge amount. And they're going to have to take care of the whole entire region without being there. And all the information that happens on an instant, they have to receive.
How would they move? I guess what would be, why did they do it? Do we have any kind of knowledge of why?
Not that I see the person that I talked to, they don't really know. Mostly the contract work that they do is supportive, logistics, things like that.
You guys see this? They're moving it from Qatar all the way back home to South Carolina. What the hell's going on?
Right.
This is Central Command for the entire... What if they're nuking the place? Do you ever think about that?
No one knows.
They're moving all of Central Command. Oh my gosh. So do you really... I don't think people realize when there's little stuff like this that matters so much. They're moving every American in this command center back to the United States. Why? Yeah. Why would they command from all the way over here instead of being in Qatar? Unless they were dropping something big.
And that's the weird thing too, is Qatar is not a country we hear in the news every day. I mean, it's not something we think as a hot zone. So they're expecting something to splash over to the entire region that forces Central Command out of the area, because Qatar, again, it's you know, as safe as, you know, Israel or Sudan, or, you know, some of these places that you don't hear as often, and they think that it's safe enough for Central Command to be housed there, but now they don't. Now they think it's too dangerous, and they're moving
even be over there at all.
Back to the United States.
They're
Exactly.
moving all of those folks.
Everyone. But even in the article that I have, that you have up there, it's saying the buildings are completely empty. That there's it said in the article towards the beginning that there's about 300 aircraft in the air monitoring the situation, but the information they're feeding to Central Command is going to empty buildings because it's actually being reverted to South Carolina instead.
Hundreds
which is
of
just
seats.
Insane.
It says, and yet on Saturday, as 300 planes were up in the air in key areas such as Saraya, Afghanistan, and Persian Gulf, hundreds of seats at the Combined Air and Space Operations Center at the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar sat empty. Instead, the air power of the U.S. and its allies was being controlled by teams at Shaw Air Base in South Carolina, more than 7,000 miles away. Though the move was temporary, Al Udeid took back control on Sunday after 24 hours. It was a significant tactical shift.
But see, I don't think it was temporary. I think it was.
See, I don't think so either.
Similar to what happened in the.
Because the other one says that it was supposed to be, and now it's not. So why would they do that?
Exactly. I think it's a misinformation tactic for them to say, oh, well, now it's still being used. No, it's really not. You wouldn't go through the effort of moving people 7,000 miles away just to bring them back in 24 hours. I mean, I'm sorry, you would go TDY to Germany or to the UK and then come back to in country. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And there's another person on Discord and on Twitter that I talk to who has actually become quite close with me. His name is Rick GX, I believe. Anyway, he's local to where I'm from too, and we're starting to see a ton of heavy transport traffic, and this would explain partially some of it. Like, we see a lot of C-130s going out of, there's an airport called Alliance Airport here in North Texas, and then of course Carswell, which is now the Joint Reserve Base. We're seeing a lot of C-17s, C-130s, all these heavy transport planes going somewhere, and we never can tell because a lot of the mechanisms we use to track it have either been down for the past few weeks, or they purposely are programming the transponders to show they're elsewhere instead of the actual flight path that we just watch them take off from. So it's very interesting. And then something else, I called several days ago about the Ruskies having the invasion stripe on their landing vehicles.
Oh, that was you too.
And,
that was really good information, by the way.
Yes, that was me.
I talked to.
Thank you.
Well, okay. You should be absolutely proud of that one. You called that, and that was because you found it on Twitter. That gentleman who was a individual. Oh God, I forgot what his name was. The gentleman is literally, he specializes in that. What it was is he called in and told us there's all these pictures of these tanks with the identification markers on it. If you're in war, essentially, from the air, you put an identification marker so the aerial folks can identify, like, hey, don't bomb that. That's ours. And you called it, and you are completely correct. So they are preparing for something massive.
Yes, and what I found interesting is one of the pictures we had pulled up, it showed what looked like the British flag with the red X. That's pretty universal for the British. But I actually did research after the show and found out that that's actually the naval flag for the Russian, or for the Ruskies rather, sorry. Yeah. But that's actually their naval flag. So when we joked around and said, "Oh, that's not a picture of the Ruskies, that's a picture of another landing craft with different invasions." No, that's them. That was a picture of a Ruski ship landing craft and had LAVs coming out with white invasion stripes. So all those pictures that he had in that Twitter feed were all Ruskies, and they were all going to train for something we don't know yet.
That's right. They thought it was Britain, right? And it was actually Russian?
Right, exactly. Yeah, that was a Russian. I looked it up, and that was one of the Russian naval flags. And what it is they had, it was a World War I flag design, but then they actually brought it back for something. I'm not sure. But this would also explain a move from, the ME all the way to South Carolina rather, because there's so much that we don't know about what's going on that they can't have Central Command be so close if, say, Ukraine is invaded by the Ruskies. I mean, it's a different region. It's further north, but I mean, we have to have our command be close enough to. You okay?
Yeah, we're good. Just a huge explosion.
Oh, sorry. You just now?
Yeah, probably fireworks or something, but it definitely shook me up.
Well, just so you know, NK did launch a couple submarine-based missiles a few hours ago.
Yeah,
so there's that.
I'm surprised. Actually, I don't know why I thought we'd put that in there. 960 and 945 or something. Which I'm surprised good job. I saw it on, I think it's because I tweeted it, but I didn't put it out. Okay. So I don't even know if I tweeted it. The thing is they keep launching, they've launched a million different times and it's like,
yep.
You just never know. You just never know.
And the issue is that when their technology, we don't really know how advanced it is, so we have to assume it's either as advanced as China or as primitive as
Tuesday launched what appears to be another missile, according to South
Korea, and a launcher. If that's the case, one big gust of wind will push it into Japan. I mean, we need to be really careful with dealing with these acts. Personally, I think it's just a cry for attention. But it gets awfully dangerous when it lands in the Japanese economic zone. We can't allow this to keep happening if the rockets are just going to land closer and closer and closer to the Sea of Japan. And I mean, we still have thousands of troops in South Korea who are affectionately called the speed bump, because literally that's what they are. They're not the force to stop North NK, but they're the force to slow it down enough for the majority of the Pacific Fleet to come in and reinforce. So I mean, we as foreign policy need to take this very seriously.
Well, Jake, I got to get the next caller. Matt and AZ is right behind you, but also I wonder what you thought about that 5-day no notice practice drill for the Sea Command Fleet. That was also about 6 days ago. So I wonder what ended up happening with those guys. Very weird. The entire Sea Command Fleet.
Absolutely.
Saying, hey, we need to drill like we have already in 5 days.
Yep.
So, all right.
Because I think that's the time period they think they have.
Wait a second. And the Sea Command Fleet too, don't they move stuff around, right? That's one of their main things.
They do. It's my grandfather is actually one of the namesakes of the MV Captain Stephen O. Bennett, and that ship was in charge of supplying AFGA and I-Ray, or the other I. So I mean, yeah,
that's how they move. That's how they move tanks too, right? They move tanks. They move all the stuff via
tanks,
sea.
Arms, troops. Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, so actually,
not troops as so much, but.
Dex, could you line me up with the article that we're talking about? About 6 or 7 days ago, we talked about it. I know you probably know what I'm talking about. It was actually a call. A woman called in, gave us that information before anybody was talking about it. It was a no-notice drill that said to they said normally they get about 2 or 3 ships to drill or to kind of do a readiness thing. They had the entire fleet basically do a no notice drill. So they just said, get ready and be ready to roll out for the entire country in 5 days. It's been about 5 days or 6 days, right? And
yeah, I believe so.
These are and then that story that you're talking about, where you showed the stripes. Do you realize that was in that 5-day period of them rolling out from their version of Sea Command?
When what's crazy is that was also in the time period that we were trying to think if we should respond to the oil field attack that happened the week before. So, I mean, we had to get everything ready and sent out just in case we were A, going to attack Ryan, or B, have enough equipment in the area so that the guys over in the ME or over in Southwest Asia, that Central Command covers, has enough equipment that they could fight off the Ruskies or anybody else trying to invade an area that we deemed they shouldn't be going into. I think it was probably a. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's good. I do got to get the next caller on here, but I appreciate your call.
Yes, of course.
And you're always welcome to call in, and you should call in next show or next week sometime. I appreciate you and thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good night, Jake. All right. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf
Thank
out.
you. You too.
All right. Let's see here. We've got Matt in AZ up next. Let's see here. Matt in AZ calling from Arizona. Air Force Connects 17. Oh, weird. This is cool. Matt in AZ, you've got a pretty cool story here about the Air Force. Let us know what that is.
We ran back in 2010, I was actually in Iraq via IED Air Base. I've spent quite a bit of time there. That is, I would love to say it's surprising, but it's not. But we'll get to that. But yeah, we ran our geosync and all our geospatial stuff off of PlayStation 3s for a little while.
Now, you're saying they connected a certain amount of PlayStations to do what?
To process most of the the satellite pictures and imagery. It was actually cheaper to do that than to actually buy a server to handle the load, and then they just ran servers for all the inputs and outputs so it could kind of manage the traffic.
Why? I'm so confused why they would do this. Did they just take the circuit board out, or they actually have almost 1,800 PlayStation 3s, which are not even the latest ones, to build a supercomputer?
Well, this is back in 2010, and this is, if you remember, the first generation PS3s were freaking awesome. They were really good.
Yeah, they were the next. Isn't that the first, what they called the next gen, or the new gen, or whatever?
I think so.
I think it was the next gen.
Yeah,
it was basically the upgraded. It was when Xbox also went from Xbox to, Xbox. I mean, it was a big deal. It was the original Xbox to the next gen.
It was when these were $400. It was actually costing Sony about $800 to make each one. They were losing money when the first PS3s came out. That's how powerful they were.
Yeah, because they would make all their money off of the games and everything else. Now,
yeah.
So why I guess is this important to the people? Why should they know about this?
Well, I mean, you were mentioned earlier. Had mentioned gaming systems and the graphics capabilities and stuff. This was in 2010 with civilian accessible technology. Imagine, and that was, DARPA was still somewhat of a news/unknown thing. Imagine what they have now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, so imagine if they connected 1,800, of the most elite powerful computers that they have now. One thing I don't get is when they did this, why did they connect PlayStations? Why didn't they just connect computers? It's just
I think it's because the graphics was already there, and it was cheaper. I think it was partly an experiment too for the. It wouldn't surprise me if the Air Force Academy had something to do with it, on the IT side. Or I know you could run Linux on these. I think it says that in the article. But
well, think about what there's tons of. You could find PlayStation 3s everywhere. What if it was like an emergency situation? You could actually make a supercomputer out of. I mean, almost every home has a PlayStation or an Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy to think about.
Well, more importantly, the last call I got. I'd love to comment on that.
Go ahead. I'd love to hear your opinion on it.
All right. Well, accent moving, that's a pretty big deal. That's beyond a pretty big deal. It's a big deal. There's certain we call them non-essential or non-mission critical personnel that, you would have leave first, all your admin and everybody like that. And I got feelers out there. I have civilian buddies that got out and they worked for the UAE and those countries out there as civilian contractors. I got feelers out to them right now, but if they're on the move, I ain't going to be able to get a hold of them. That's a big deal. That's beyond a big deal. That base is huge. I mean, billions of dollars of infrastructure we put in there.
In Qatar.
It's actually, oh yeah. Qatar, and then there's the other one to watch out for is Al Dhafra. That's our main.
Isn't that the one that's hardened?
Heavy cargo in and out.
Yeah, Al Dhafra is that where the sea command fleet would drop their stuff? Is that where they would do?
I think that's where the Navy goes through. I know. For as far as troop moving to Ryak and Ryan and those areas, everybody that gets deployed from either overseas or stateside, I think it's like 85 or 90% of those people get sent, or at least now used to get sent to IED before they go on to Balad Air Base in Iraq or somewhere in Afghanistan. Shmanistan. My bad, man. It's hard. And so now, logistically, the home bases are going to have to issue all their own equipment. Your A-bag, your mop suit, your gas mask, all that stuff at home station, and then deploy with it. I mean, it's absolutely flabbergasting that this is happening. It's a big move.
Now, Matt and AZ, I agree with you. The weird thing is they are saying that it was temporary, but then they almost everything else said that it's not temporary. So I don't even know why they said it was temporary.
Well,
I wonder if they were trying to scare people.
Remember who just left the admin or the administration, the one who wanted to stay over there.
Oh, good.
Bolton.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vic S says Qatar is not safe. See, the thing is if Qatar is not safe, that's scary, because Qatar was considered safe as far as, I mean, they had it on lockdown. Now I'm thinking they're worried about something bigger going on. Who knows? It might not even be between us. We could see Iz and Ryak go at it themselves, and Qatar be a kind of a prayer in the wind on the side. By the way, Matt and AZ, I only see 2 videos on. I know your APS power station videos there. Did you do 2 channels, or did you get rid of some videos?
I've gotten rid of a bunch of videos. I'm kind of rebranding and kind of refocusing, and I'm just kind of reorganizing everything.
All right. Well, I wanted to shout you out and send people your way. This is Matt in AZ. What's funny is that's the first video. I wanted to ask you how you were. This was the first video he sent me 3 months ago, and this is when we were talking about how the military is moving power all over the country, transformers, generators. This is why we even partnered with EMP Shield in the beginning when this started is because they're talking about, this is when we were all talking about how DT just signed the bill. We have to harden our grid. We are so vulnerable right now. If they knock out our entire grid, it would be worse than if we got nuked in 5 cities. 90% of us would die if our grid gets knocked out completely. So it would be worse than, say, if 5 nukes hit around the country.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
On that subject. So our power substations, that's a main substation in that video, or a main station in that video. In between our substations along the main roads, they're replacing all of the wooden power poles with steel power poles from 12 o'clock at night to 3 o'clock in the morning, one by one.
Why? Oh, I guess.
Which, well, remember your power pole video.
So, okay.
I don't know. Just an interesting thought, but strange because we don't have wet ground like you guys do. You know, our ground's dry, and those are treated poles. They should be good for 100 years.
Okay, so by the way,
interesting is
pause it on this
else,
on that.
All the
So Matt, I just want to explain the poll that everybody's seeing right there. 26 poles in Seattle went down all at the same time, and I actually went to the scene and I videotaped it, and they were replacing all 26. I talked to the actual gentleman who has worked on the lines for 35 years. He says he's never seen anything like it. 26 poles all snapped like dominoes, just pop, 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 pop. And I said, have you ever seen one take down so many? And he said, never. Even in a bad storm, the most he ever had was 12, and they were all separate. The most he's seen one bringing down the other was 5, and that was in a horrific storm. You're talking this one, wasn't even a storm. There was not even crazy wind, and all 26 fell. One of them actually fell on a couple, and they luckily survived. And it was right outside, which, by the way, it was right outside one of the top secret Boeing, the surveillance plane actual building. And I sat and shot video there, and I even asked, and he said it was crazy because a VIP drill happened that day, and they went through there. So some VIP and some presidential somebody went through there in a whole procession, and magically all these poles came down. Super, super weird. So I don't know. I know you were making a different point. They're basically replacing these ones that you see here on your screen with metal 100-foot poles. But yeah, no, go ahead and make your point, Matt. I'm sorry.
Well, it's right outside Boeing here in Mesa.
This is?
Which is crazy. No, not this substation. The ones that I've been seeing getting replaced.
What? So
yeah.
What? Okay,
yeah,
that is super weird.
I'm gonna try and get video, but they're doing it in other spots too. But it seems like it's from all the main infrastructure areas. Okay. Maybe it's just because this one was right next to it. I don't know, but
I want to know what the hell is in there.
I know.
These are top secret places.
I used to work
in Boeing.
there, and when I worked there before the military, I was only on one project that was semi-secret, and it was that project's gone now. But it was basically, we had C-17s that had lasers on them, and those were designed to fly around 24/7 to shoot down missiles with laser beams, basically. But that was a long time ago. Just interesting, just how it's all kind of flowing together. You know, everybody keep your eyes open. You know,
absolutely.
Stuff. You got to bring this stuff up.
Well, Matt, I hope you have a great night, and thank you again too. I've seen you for a long time now. I hope the Foogle Fam goes over and gives you a lot of love, and of course, thank you for staying neutral through all the drama. You know, thank you.
Oh yeah, of course.
You were always sensible, logical, and you had to look at both sides, and I like how you're just in general like saying, let's just stay positive and be adults about it. So I appreciate you, Matt, and you have a great night, okay?
You too, brother.
All right. Much love. Up next, we have Anthony, a.k.a. Ice Pang 1. Ice Pang 1. What's up, Homegrown? We've got Homegrown and Skis de Quifa. Skis de Quifa? Nice to meet you. From underground, poles got taken out. Oh, so super weird. But he's saying across the country at a Boeing, they're replacing those same poles. It was super weird. It was right outside Boeing that these poles just all went down from a single flash. Some people think it was directed energy. Super weird that Boeing is replacing those. All right. We've got Anthony, aka Ice Pang 1. Ice Pang.
Yeah, how you doing?
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
1.
Not too much, my brother. How you been?
Good. So, Anthony, or do you go by Tony, or what do you go by?
No, Anthony's my middle name. Christopher's my first name. So my friends call me Anthony.
Oh, cool. So let's see here. Let me pause this real quick and get to your card. It says that you've got a drone video of the sun with a black circle and an Antarctic shelf. Whoa, what the heck? Calling from Las Vegas. Let's check it out. Can you explain the video we're about to pull up?
Yeah, I got a drone a few months back, and everybody starting their channel on the Marfoogle, so I started gathering videos, and I got a bunch of videos I'm going to start posting up once they're done editing. But I've caught this 3 or 4 times, and what it is when the sun sets, I catch it right before it sets, and there's a black circle, like a black sphere that's in the center of the sun, and I always catch it. And it's not from my drone, it's not a flare, because the circle stays stable just like the sun. And you can see my drone moving around because it doesn't have it has a gimbal, but it's not stable. So you can see my drone moving, but the sun and the circle staying completely still. And I wanted to know your opinion about it because I can't figure it out. I've done research and can't figure anything out about it.
Well, first off, what is that black thing over there? Is that what you're not talking about that, are you? Are you talking about the sun as far as you believe maybe a sun simulator? So first off, when you go over there, that doesn't even look like a plane. When I have a drone up in the sky, you can't even see a plane. I mean, it's really hard unless you're right next to it because of the wide angle of view that they all have. It's really hard to see a plane that far away. So that's a big black object right there. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about. And then
no, when the drone spins, you'll see it spin and you'll see the plane. But when it's focused on the sun, I leave it there. I leave it there for the remainder of the video, and you can see the black circle. It's completely visible right in the sun.
What kind of drone is this, by the way? Is this a is this like a 720p one, or?
It is, yeah. It can go up to 1080, but I drop it down so that it's just clear. I mean, for the drone's sake.
Well, some of them they can do 720, they'll do it and they'll stabilize it. Because if it's a 1080, if you do 720, it will digitally stabilize it because it doesn't have a gimbal. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep. Because the way mine is the camera is underneath the drone and it has 3 rubber feet that are in between the drone and the camera, so that when it's shaking, the rubber takes the impact of the shaking and stabilizes it as best as it can. And then on the video part, it stabilizes it more.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, it's clear as day. You can see the sun, which you shouldn't be able to see even with that tiny sensor on a camera like that. So that's equivalent. I mean, that's probably, it might even be the same size as a cell phone sensor if it's not. The DJI Mavics and those have a slightly bigger sensor, but even the biggest on just a regular one that what you got is like a 1-inch sensor on the Mavic 2 Pro. And, anything bigger than that is like Inspire. Even though you would not you would not see anything. That would have just, I'm surprised at the dynamic range, because you're seeing the clouds with the sun blaring in your face. And you're seeing that black circle.
The thing is I promoted this drone extensively once I got it, because I found it on Amazon and it only cost me $160, and it came with 2 extra batteries, so I have 3. And it's made out of some sort of like strong metal material. I think it's aluminum. It's not a plastic drone. It's made out of metal, and the feet are plastic, and it's got brushless motors. It's a very good drone. The drone is called it's a Bug. If you look up Bug, B-U-G, B5W, it'll come right up. It's the best drone I found on the market for.
There was a very nice gentleman who gave me my first drone. He was a viewer, and he didn't ever use it. He literally, bought one and never used it, and he is the one who sent me my first one. He got me into that. But, and I believe it was one just like it. Just so you know, though, too, you can get a used Spark, and the Spark is amazing. Almost 10 times better. If you get it used, you'll probably pay $150 for one, on OfferUp or something. But either way, great video, and thank you for sharing that with us. How many of you guys believe that that's that it's weird that you can see the sun completely? I mean, a little tiny camera, a little tiny sensor like that, you would think it would just be completely washed out and you would not be able to see it. This thing doesn't have an ND filter or anything. I don't know how it's even seeing the sun, unless it's just weird. You shouldn't even be able to see the sun.
I'm telling you, I don't understand it, because the thing is that I don't know if it's the drone or if it's the object I'm looking at, because I've caught it on the sun up. See, what's weird about it is where I'm stationed in Las Vegas, Nevada, we have mountains all around us. So the sun comes up around the mountains and goes down around the mountains, and those mountains help block out a lot of the stuff. But the thing is that when the sun rises, sorry about that, when the sun rises in the east, I can't see that black dot. I can't, and the sun is at the same distance. I'm in the center of town in Henderson, and the mountains on the west and the mountains on the east are equal distance. So why is the sun coming up behind the mountain and going down behind the mountain, but when it's coming up from the east and it's rising, it's a smaller sun with no black circle, and then when it sets, it's a huge sun, as you can see, with a black sphere in the center of it. And I've caught it 3 or 4 times, so it's not like it just happened one time. Every time I flown the drone in the last 3 weeks, I catch it.
Well, Anthony, a.k.a. Ice Pang 1, thank you for calling, and thank you for sharing.
No problem. It's actually Icy Penguin. Like, the ices you get at 7-Eleven? It's Icy Penguin.
Icy Penguin. Well, thank you for communicating that. I probably would have got it wrong forever. Icy Penguin. You have a great night, man.
Good, man. I love it.
And no, seriously, once you do a drone like that, you want to get better and better. I've gotten all my stuff used, and a lot of times people don't use them. They literally fly them once and they go, I don't have time for this, and then get rid of them. So those ones are great, but I'm telling you, once you go up, you can't go back.
I know, and I've never checked out OfferUp for those. I usually try to get things new with warranties, but I'm glad you told me. And when I get off of here, I'm going to go check that, because I do want a better drone with a better sensor.
Oh, once you go gimbal,
thank you very much, man.
It's awesome. Well, thank you so much. You have a great night. All right, be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
You too, man.
Let's see here. We've got Truthing Trucker. What's going on?
What do you say, Mark?
Hey, how are you doing? So let's see here. Let me turn off this stupid ad of this perfect family. Cheers. What are you doing, Tom? I'm just being Tom. Hi, Susan. Susan, you're so great. Cheers again. Okay, let's see here. All right. Oh, okay. Truthing Trucker, I need to put this on pause.
Go ahead.
RKTNN host Randall Taylor has had a stroke. I am asking every single person here to pray for him.
No way.
Yeah. Have you watched RKTNN?
Man, I have followed Randall since he has started. He called in hundreds of times. That is crazy.
Okay, here's what we're all going to do for Randall. Holy moly. Okay, so here's the least we can do. He is at 29,000. I hope by tomorrow. If he is in the hospital right now, I hope that every single person, and I mean this, and I've never meant this more, I hope that we can all go over there and do the biggest love mob we've ever done before. So when he comes out of the hospital or wherever he's at, he has a ton of people there showing love, showing positivity. This is just something we got from Cat Lover, which is his mod. She just came in the chat. I am so serious. So let's all go to... this is an update, almost gone. And then make sure
Man, that's insane.
Yes, so please go over to his channel and get up in there and subscribe, please. All right, make sure you guys go and show some love and subscribe to RKTNN. It's very easy to find. Okay, everybody, please do that. Oh, wrong one.
Man, that's insane.
All right, I see Trucker. I apologize.
Oh man, you're good. No, you're good. See, he had got a job. He used to just do YouTube 7 days a week. Like, he would do a video every other hour. He would come on live every other hour. And for me driving a truck, it was great because it gave me, something live and something to interact with while I was driving. So he got a job and he slowed down making videos, and I still go watch him, but it's so random, and the way YouTube doesn't give notifications anymore, I don't ever know when he's coming live. But that's terrible, man. I hate to hear that. That is insane.
I really hope that everybody can please head over and this is the biggest love mob we've ever done. I will check out on the Choutro as well. Randall's young. He should not be having a stroke, and he's such a nice guy. He's an amazing guy. So, yeah. But I'm sorry. Yeah,
he is awesome.
You wanted to talk about military bases across country and their stocks. What's going on with that?
Well, I've noticed the one that got my attention was Fort Benning, Georgia here, I don't know, a couple months ago. And I went by there, and they've got a pretty big lot that they keep equipment there. And kind of like what was up in your area, they had a bunch of equipment with like tan tarps, same color as the equipment, so that when you look at it from overhead, you can't really, you can't tell what's what. But man, they were just slam packed. So I started, every time I passed one that I could see from the interstate, or if I was in a town, they're just cram packed with equipment. Everything from tanks to armored trucks. The whole 9 yards. And then, not to mention what I see on the road, all the trucks hauling equipment. But I've noticed a lot of military refrigerated trailers here the past week, because I've been on the East Coast. I just left South Carolina. But that was that on that deal. But the caller that called in about the Navy moving their stuff from Qatar, I got to looking on Google Maps and matching up, nuclear bases, our electric, all that stuff. And being that 95% of the reactors are on the East Coast, well, from the Midwest to the East Coast, it would take a lot to cover, all of those reactors and plants. And when I was in South Carolina, I made a delivery next to a Boeing research facility. And beside the facility, they had I don't know, like I told Dex, I wasn't able to go down there. There wasn't a place for me to turn my truck around. But from what I could see from where I was at least 100, maybe 150 white and gray vans, kind of like the Amazon vans. For whatever reason, they had those there. I'm not sure why. And it's a new area, like a new industrial center, and that was in Goose Creek, South Carolina. But the military base being fully stocked is kind of, you know, it goes along with them moving that base. But where I live at in Tennessee, we have a small airport that has, here lately, it's grown to be a municipal airport. And beside that is a National Guard. And usually when they have, you know, drill once a month or whatever, you know, there might be 15 or 20 vehicles there. And we have a small armory kind of hidden off in town, and it's not very big. But last weekend or week before last, when I was home, there was probably 200 vehicles in the parking lot over there. Nothing special going on, and they were running Marine drills a couple months ago, and I'm assuming, I forget what kind of helicopter it was, but they would land at the airport, and now they didn't disclose this to the public or nothing. It was a private deal. All they said was there was a Marine drill and that's it. And of course the airport is completely fenced off, but they would land, and then soldiers would get off the helicopter, and then it would take off, and it would fly around in a circle there, probably a 5-mile radius, land. They would load back up, take off, and they did that for like 4 or 5 hours, and they did that for 3 or 4 weekends in a row. And I drove around to the other side of the airport where I could actually see them, and you could hear them radioing from the helicopter to the truck that they had down there. And they had 3 or 4 white vans where I guess they had transported whoever to there. But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And when that guy said something about that, you know, that didn't help ease anything by any means.
No, and a lot of people across the country are feeling all sorts of ways because we've gotten over 1,000 emails in just the last 3 weeks talking about different convoys around the country. So we're actually waiting to hear about all this other stuff going on. Right now, we have obviously all of the stuff going on in ME. We've got the refinery incident, which kicked off a bunch of smaller events, and some of these did not get covered in public. So we want to make sure that if we say something, that it's not going to just scare somebody, that it's going to be a real deal Holyfield event. With that being said, there's a lot of little things that are adding up right now, and a lot of things that the White House is doing that they're not, I guess, broadcasting out to everybody. So we're just kind of taking it day by day with all of this. So, you know, we want to keep you guys informed, but you guys have to also keep us informed. You guys are all around the country. You are the best source of knowledge and information that any channel could ever have. You guys are what makes this the network that it is. So I appreciate your information and you calling in with that. Oh yeah, man, most definitely. You know, it's about the only way to really get it out there. I mean, you have social media, but there's so many people, they push it off like it's no big deal. You know, they believe that, you know, our government's going to protect us, but in the end, they're only going to protect them and the most powerful and keep the strongest bloodlines to reproduce. And ultimately that's, you know, unfortunately that's what it's going to be like. But something's going to happen, and especially with the whole DT thing and the 2020, you know, if he gets reelected, I guarantee, A, the stock market is going to crash. B, they're going to create some form of disaster that causes mass rioting. Or C, they just may, you know, they may an FF and BOMB the country. You know, who knows? But something will happen because they're so close to exposing all the corruption that's been going on. Red Pill News
released a video a few hours ago. I would suggest, I don't know if you follow him, but go check that video out, because he had some serious information. Like, when I woke up this morning and got on YouTube, that was the first thing I seen, and I was like, holy cow. Pretty damning, and all for good reason for them to create a major event to distract from that. Because if what he's saying is true, those allegations, it's some serious crap. Serious.
So just to confirm too, this is Red Pill 78, which does Red Pill News. So there's a lot of red pills. This is the correct one.
Right.
There's a pill for that, 78, and 164,000 subscribers. If you guys haven't seen these guys, they do great stuff. Red Pill News, Red October is here, DOD and non-drops. Red Pill News, treason has been committed.
That's it.
Big views. These guys put a lot of effort into their stuff, so go check them out. Big shout out to Red Pill. If you guys ever want to work together, please let me know. All right, man. Well, thank you, Truthing Trucker, man. Thank you so much for calling in, and I appreciate you. And please call in again, of course, as always.
Yep, you got it, man.
All right, you have a good night, and be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
All right, see ya.
All right, let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. All right. C command drill. Okay, so I wanted to show you this. Thank you, Dex, for popping that up. Which, by the way, so Dex, this is the C command. This is what we're talking about. When was this dated? Okay, let's pull this up. All right. This is the C command no notice drill that took place. Okay, check this out. Pentagon orders sudden deployment drill of unprecedented size for its sea lift ships. So this is how they take this is how they transport all the tanks, all the other stuff, all the personnel carriers, all of those things, all of those trucks are taken with these. And September 17th, so just about 2 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago. So I guess that, because there was only 28 days in, what was it? I mean, there was 30 days in September, right? Dex, you can help me not look like an idiot. Yes. I don't know the stupid rhyme. 30 days in September, remember, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean.
Count the knuckles.
On
the fist, the knuckles that bump up at 31. Between the knuckles.
Okay. Anyways, you're blowing my mind here. So September 17, there's 30 days, 13 days, 15 days. So almost exactly 2 weeks ago, they said, hey, you need to do this drill. Get ready in 5 days now. It began on 16th, so exactly 2 days ago, I guess. Boom. Get ready. See if you can get ready in 5 days, 4 to 20 days. How long a crew has to prepare varies from ship and can be anywhere from 4 to 20 days. Right now, it's going on 14 days. So again, they are basically ready to go right now. You are seeing what that gentleman called in earlier was these trucks that were marked, these tanks that were marked, these APCs that were marked, these machine guns that were marked with identifiers for war. I mean, that's essentially what that was. So aerial planes can see down and they have a specific marker that says that's our side. This is all weird stuff, folks. And it's not really weird. It's us preparing, we can't say it, or otherwise we're fearmongers or this and that. We've been close to conflict many times and pulled it back. So it doesn't mean we're going, it means we are very close to going again. And I think they're lining things up over the long term. What do you think, Dex?
Well, we keep seeing all of this activity, whether it's events happening like the oil fields to, drills that we're doing here, movements. It all sort of, we've said it time and time again for the last, 2 weeks, ever since this article, and even a little bit before then. It does seem like something, we're gearing up for something. And, hopefully it's just posturing and nothing bad's going to happen. But, the writing's sort of on the wall right now.
No, I completely agree with you. I think that we're going to see in the next couple of weeks at least a couple more kickoff events, and we will see, kind of what's going to go on. I hope that more people pop over and subscribe to RKTNN. If you are watching this tomorrow, pray for him. They said, I guess we did get an update. He's had a minor stroke. Doesn't matter what kind of stroke it is. He needs prayer, and he's way too young to be having a C minor, an F minor, an F major stroke. I'm making a joke, but a stroke is no joke. So I hope that everybody goes over and shows love. Thank you, my mods. I saw every one of my mods pop up the link. So it was kind of like you couldn't see chat without seeing his link. So I'm glad you guys did that. Very cool dude. And I called into his show just about a week ago. So I'm glad he's okay. And I'm glad that he's recovering. Let's help him get recovering. And there's nothing like seeing a bunch of compliments and a bunch of love coming your way to make you feel better. Dex, is there anything else you want to say before we go?
No, great callers, good content. I appreciate everybody who called in and shared things with everybody today. God bless everybody.
As a cereal box would say, new look, same great content. I don't know why we would say that, but whatever.
So true.
So true. Well, thank you. Now, thank you guys for all coming. Again, you can see any of the articles that we had here today on marfooglenews.com. Now it's officially time for me to make a fool out of myself. It's not exactly an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Have a wonderful night. Of course, always be safe. Always be prepared. And Marv out. And every time that you visit me, we get that Patty Chappie, Chapman Lawrence, and we know it's going somewhere. Oh, right a stop. What's up, Susan Big, Marfoogle Family? What's up, Julianne 522? What's you doing, Patricia Weiss? And wouldn't it be nice if we had some gin and juice for Gin G to hang out with Mr. G-Wag and Mr. G-W-A-G? Caroline Shuey Ings, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Dennis Flago, hi girl, eyes wide open, Lisa Wooden. Send a big prayer to RKTNN, Randall Taylor. Randall Taylor, hope you're doing better. Strokes are no jokes, but you will be better if you've got the Carolyn Boggs and April Osbones praying for you all. Tish Foogle out where MG till forever. Tracy holding it down for Trevor. And Heidi Gregory, oh, and Cindy Christie. is so. It's all about the Shane, XCS, and the Joshua Jacobs, and the Crazy Granny, and the Patty Chapman Lawrence, and the Roasted Scorpion, and the Butcher Vice. It is so nice hanging with that Alice J and that Nikkei, Joe Nelson, and that Fly Brian. Got that Connie Easley in the house, and that Adelasia Krieger, and that Sweet Rems, or Sweet Rams, and that Hodgepodge, and the J Stone 78. Couldn't do it without you. And Shauna May, well, what do I say? You're as cool as I like May. And Kathy White, or White, and Poothiola Tot. Flying Turtle Japan is the man, but nothing like Janice Price. Twice as nice, that Shirley Parsley, that Heidi 12. Hello, Thrillbilly JP. Are you singing to me, native Texan and just Arizona looking at me? Please refrain from smashing the like button. Make sure to gently depress the like square, because smashing anything is just plain mean. You think it was done? Well, you were wrong. This is dedicated to the negative channels out there. You are stuck, you are stuck, you are stuck, you are stuck, so you're mad at me. They don't come to your channel because of your negativity. Just cause you are shadow banned, that doesn't mean you have to go after your fellow man. When you attack for zero reason, I tell you that's like YouTube treason. You don't have to be believing, but you can stop all of that stupid hating. All that stupid hating. Because you waiting for something to happen, waiting for me to say negative, and I won't do it, cause I ain't like that. Cause I ain't like that. Now they can say whatever they want, cause they said it all. And we still here. It's called no negativity. Every single day of your life. And they try very hard. They try to take all of us down, but they will never take us down because we are Marfoogle Family. And let me tell you what. It's growing, and it's growing every single day. Because of the negativity. So what do you say? Let's all be positive and let's push each other up instead of tear each other down for zero reason. Never talk to the guy. So why, oh why, is he so mad at this guy? Hey, a bird hit that window. It's Marfoogle's fault. What in the heck? It's raining. It's Marfoogle's fault. Hey, that guy's a bad driver. It's Marfoogle's fault. Did that guy just eat a sandwich and drip mayonnaise on his shirt? It's Marfoogle's fault. What in the world just happened there? He dropped the pass. It's Marfoogle's fault. I just spilt my coffee on my crotch. It's Marfoogle's fault. that guy just lied to his mother. It's Marfoogle's fault. What in the world is going on here? We have no idea. Make sure to check out MarFoogleNews.com for all of the updates and every single article of every single shingle that we put here. It's all about the hodgepodge, because he's all up in the house. Hey girl, are you hanging with the old rider? I've got that roasted scorpion and that Sharon Theobald. Never been meaner with the skis, the Queefa, and the Janice Price of lice. Got my lights with the Ashley Marie and hanging out with my rice. Gotta get that just Arizona, got to get that main persona. Homegrown. Shoot, I totally forgot. You haven't checked out Homegrown USA? Then you better do so. Tomorrow we're gonna do a big old love mob for Homegrown USA. And yes, Homegrown USA is very much alive, and you better go over there and make his channel thrive. Hey, Michael Thornton, I wouldn't be able to do this channel without you. You are Marfoogle TV. Marfoogle TV is run by Jake B. It's run by Scan Family. Unleash, and Classify 420 is everything that we are. Make sure to pop on over to Homegrown USA. That's what it's all about.
Hey! Chihuahua!
Jin G, if you want to join the Discord, make sure to go to MarFoogleNews.com. It's very simple. Just join Marfoogle Alerts and Discord. Uh-oh. It's a kicking out down low. What are going on now? Ooh, make it a beat with the phone button. Oh, there it is. I think Crystal Sullivan was messing with my phone. Or maybe it was able-bodied. Hey, we kick it, we love it, we live it with the CJ Blacks. Gotta bring it down. I'm Michelle Smith. Got it Randy Newman. Got that Ram Page. Got my G Light. Got my C. Hey, B.O.D. behave. Oh no, he didn't.
Every day, now we see Crazy Grand Hank and Debbie Borback doesn't matter. I absorb negativity and make it positivity on such match. John Nelson, got my Shauna May, got my weed soup tests, and oh really wanna beat me. Nice meeting you the other day. Hey, it was a nice meeting. Really Billy JP, oh I'd like to meet me in the Robin Shaw and the Gloria White. Victory, Janaline, and everyone right. Is a one right? A letter to Chrissy Love, CJ Blaze, and the Timmy Farrell Medic 13. Gotta sit with the hearing aid and K. Randy Newman says rhyme on perfect. Mr. Carolyn Boss, Stephen D.S. Carolyn Pandar, Pan S. Like the Pez dispenser, Alfred Phillips, and the J. Merritt. And everybody knows Jennifer Heath has got the LOLs, cause that Connie Easley loves her all. Be on the session in the Assy Hellraiser. Gotta get this down, now we gotta know Razor. Gotta a Star Trek laser. Patriot forever and the homegrown Razor of Gaza. My Tasker, White Bear. Got my cheese stone 78. No hate for the Shauna May. Wrong help. Eat it all down, now we get your fill of that Marfoogle love that you only get here. Gotta go back and you better not fear. Fear-mongerings for people like you. Cause you gotta do it, no we don't, dude.
How many hate videos do you think they can make before they take us down a notch?
What it stop? No, me no need again. It's time for a good night song. Can you turn on the good night song? Oh! It's Oliver de la Man. This is Radio 106.Marf / Secret Agent Man. Yeah, got the Shauna May and the West Storch in the house. The Francisco Bandaras going at action hero style, man, with the Rebo Snapper, man. You know that Lana Jean and that soccer girl, White 77, man. Got that corner bud, better smoke it up. With that Connie Easley, that Tammy Farrell, that Crystal Sullivan, man. Got that Beyond Ascension. And oh yes, he's Beyond Ascension, that's for sure. smoking. I said a man with a care, they call him, man. Yeah, you bring the Michelle Smith to my house, man. And there she smoked it all up. Never knowing.
Yeah. Sam off in the beat, the dolphin in the sea, rolling in the waves, floating with the breeze. Got my sunny shades on, play my favorite song. Thankful for the charm, not rocking in my phone. I ain't looking for attention, I don't need the extra tension, cause I'm in the fourth dimension. Trapeze high in suspension. Now don't bother with the haters, cause they all be imitators. Real life manipulators, get it back up and see you later. I like me for me, I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me, I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy, Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me, I like me for me.
Oh, what I do with the microphone, you know, share it up in the split, man.
Head over heels, you know how that shit feels. You think it's out of space, but I know that it is real. Sipping Chapo Chico, La Coca Puerto Rico. Liquor times waterfall, anywhere that we go. I ain't looking for attention, I don't need the extra tension, cause I'm in the fourth dimension. Trapeze high in suspension.
Chrissy Love now.
The haters, cause they all be imitators. Real life manipulators, get it back up and see you later. I like me for me,
Dizimo. Yeah, man.
I'ma be. I like me for me, I am who I wanna be.
Princess, I love it.
Apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy, Wonder Woman identity.
Uh-oh. Looks like somebody is calling me. Oh, gotta stop the show. Lana Jean says goodnight. Just stop the whole show. Say goodnight. Now everybody starts leaving because you're leaving and now nobody's having fun anymore. Man, this helium is good. Sorry, I had a bunch of balloons for my birthday and, you know, it's been a long time. Haven't done it in a while. You know. And you know what, Glenda? You're right. I'm going to unbutton that top button. I'm just going to let it all hang out. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
Jealousy, Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me, I like me for me.
Stacy, I missed you too. Thank you. Hopefully you were talking to me. That always sucks when somebody says something to you and you're like, oh yeah, me too. And you're like, no, I was talking to Chuck behind you. Anyways, you have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marfoogle.
Just so you know, you do not have to go home, and you can stay here. Usually people stay until the next day in chat. Just so you know, there will be no mods. So, I was going to say something and I forgot. Oh, at your own risk.